Armed Forces of the Philippines for your support to the islands of Dinagat, especially during Typhoon Odette. You helped a lot, not only the Philippine Army, but all your groups in the AFP. Thank you, sir, so much from the bottom of our hearts. Sir, I only have 2 points, and my first question is about the operation of your military training camps. Do you have budget for your different military camps, and what percentage of that is allotted for the military camp in Kibaritan, Kalilangan, Bukidnon?
Thank you, ma'am. We do have the budgets for it, but admittedly, the budget for Kibaritan is quite low. I have recently instructed the Armed Forces Special Operations Command to scope the area for other uses or satellite camps. Now, with the real estate of the DND, our vision really is to actually scope the areas where we need for strategic basing. The rest of the areas which we cannot manage or need, and actually our biggest problem are land titling issues, of which the Office of the Solicitor General has a big shortage for it. Once we scope what we do not need, then we place these parcels of titled land into a trust fund, which will be managed hopefully by the GSIS. And the income of this will help defray the future pensions to help lower the pension burden. Admittedly, Madam Chair, to our distinguished Deputy Minority Leader, with Kibaritan, actually, I've been hearing a lot about it since before. It is an asset to fall back on in the future, but sadly, the developmental phase has lagged behind. And I understand that there are concerns with those who actually till the land, and certainly we will find a way to access and make sustainable too those that can be benefited. And the problem is not only those who are actual bona fide recipients of potential or notional recipients of CARP, but also those who were former officers in the area who have used it. Kibaritan is an asset, although if the asset is not managed properly, it's going to be a wasting asset. And I have tasked the AFP to define the use for it and how it fits in to our strategic basing concept from CADC. If you notice, ma'am, with the CADC, we have to move out. And we need to retain some base areas, but probably this will not be big, except for Fort Magsaysay, actually. Because the Fort Magsaysay Reservation begins in Nueva Ecija proper all the way to Dingalan. We need to secure that corridor. It is a strategic corridor, and that actually is an area which we cannot dispense with. Nonetheless, with Kibaritan, I've tasked the armed forces to really scope it with our Undersecretary Mison, who's also familiar with the area.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary. Just for the record, the area in Kibaritan actually is around 42,265 hectares. Originally, it was 46,000. And there are farmer tillers there since the 1950s who are actually occupying only around 195 hectares. These are 165 families. So maybe, thank you so much, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair, for supporting the idea that maybe we can give some of the land to, not give, to return some of the land to the farmers who have been tilling the land. And we have already spoken to the Secretary of the Department of Agrarian Reform and is very willing to immediately cover the land. They have actually already documented on the qualification of the 165 families, sir. And maybe we can immediately cover the land under agrarian reform. I'm sure that will not take out so much of the military reservation for the armed forces. Thank you so much, Madam
I
Chair.
undertake, ma'am, to
Secretary.
make it a personal project of mine and to add some enhancements to the people there so that, they become, their future livelihoods are sustained and it becomes an exercise in responsible and sustainable partnerships.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Secretary, salamat po talaga mula sa mga magsasaka. Siguro po ang next question ko na lang po, as much as you would really like to support your budget, no, can you just clarify this committee and maybe that will guide us in asking for more support or taking a position to have more support from you. What do you plan about taking more action or programs to increase your deterrence capabilities, including, is that being supported by your proposal for 2026? And if not, how much still do you need? Because it's very important. You said our defense, territorial defense, is a priority of the armed forces. Therefore, we need to clarify more what capabilities do you intend to develop and how much of that will be supported by your 2026 and how much of that still lack the budget support from the budget that you submitted. Thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Actually, ma'am, initially, for the deterrence, it was the 133 billion that was not included in our modernization. Nonetheless, deterrence capabilities as time goes on, we need to refine them too because the technology to counter the deterrence capabilities that we get born every day. So if we have to talk also to the DBM and the DOF to have a standby fund ready to trigger as soon as possible so that we can capture the latest technology. Because deterrence capabilities, by the way, deterrence capabilities are also, it cannot be fixed. A fixed capability is an inviting target and it will be a first target. So a lot of capabilities that are deterrent should be mobile and should be sheltered. Let me give you the state of affairs, not even in capabilities. In the Vietnam War, no matter how much B-52s bombed the North Vietnamese, everything was underground for them, and they were able to survive the environment inside the mountains. And there was a hospital, a factory, a munitions factory under. I don't think even our basic working systems are of that caliber yet. We envision strategic bases to be hardened and flexible. Nonetheless, it also is an appeal to have an honest-to-goodness connectivity and infrastructure program that can serve also the armed forces mobility. And sadly, Sadly, a lot of the mobility, for example, in India is provided by the railway, which is a losing proposition in any country. Walang kumikitang riles. But there is a balance. Yung mabibigat talaga sa riles kinakarga eh. So we suffer with 7,000 islands of connectivity. We also need, for example, for us, for the distinct data fiber networks that we have, yung inter-island fiber optic cabling, kulang pa nga eh. Those are some of the things that we need for resilience. Yung 133 po na natanggal, sana po yun ay gagamitin sa some deterrent capabilities natin na hindi ko naman pwede ihayag. Yun nga lang, matabi lang po yun na ready po. Na ready lang po sana na i-trigger, mas maganda po. Kasi itong mga to, nini-negotiate na mabilis, and then you build up. You try to catch up. So what you need are missiles, space technology, drones, and other capabilities.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Mr. Secretary. I just hope we consider the proposal of the DND to make that reserve fund in case and to increase your capacity to develop more deterrent capabilities for our defense. That will be all, Madam Chair. Sir, thank you so much for the Kibaritan issue.
The chair now recognizes from the independent, Congressman Isidro Ungab from Davao City.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, this is not a question. This is just a manifestation. I agree with Secretary Gilbert Teodoro that it's high time that we revisit the AFP modernization program. The original modernization plan was approved in 1995. The revised modernization plan was in 2012. I was already a congressman at that time. I just want to ask the commitment of the chair, ma'am. May pinagsamahan din tayo nung araw, kilala kita. You are, I would say, very dedicated vice chairman nung araw, and I still see that spirit. Can I get the commitment of the chair and the committee that what happened last year will not happen again? I would like to mention what happened last year. Yung AFP modernization, we have to go ahead with the existing law in the meantime that wala pa tayong bago. The program appropriations last year in the NEP was 50 billion for the AFP modernization. Dito sa House pa lang, on the third reading, binawasan na ng 10 billion. Pagdating sa BICAM, another 5 billion. 15 billion ang nawala. Nilipat doon sa unprogram fund. Pagdating sa unprogram, yung dating unprogram sa NEP na 25 billion, naging 40 billion. In other words, yung modernization program natin, 40 billion, yung unprogram, 35 billion na lang yung naka-program. First time in history na nahabol ng walang pondo or unprogram yung program funds. And I was watching the graph today, 2026, ganun din. I hope we can reverse that trend. Can we get the commitment? Ito, very familiar si Secretary Gibo, dating matagal na congressman. During the good old days of Congress, we were together in the Appropriation Committee. Bawal, hindi natin ginagalaw yung DND. Lalo na yung pension and gratuity fund. To add, disaster funds was even reduced by 10 billion also. So, how can we fight our external and internal forces when funds are not readily available? How can we fight disaster troubles or problems when we don't have the exact funds? So, first is the commitment of the chairman. Kung pwede, dagdagan natin, ma'am. I know that pagdating sa dulo, if there are some excess resources, ilipat na natin dito. And I have one question to DBM. Pasagutin muna